calling for people-centered climate solutions rooted in agroecology. We, members and partners of the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, gathered at the Africa Climate Summit 2 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, appreciate the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia for hosting this historic second African Climate Summit. We salute the youth, women, indigenous peoples, small-scale farmers, faith leaders, and civil society organizations who have gathered here in unity of purpose to propose solutions to this crisis, to which Africa has historically contributed very little. African countries, despite their low contributions to the global greenhouse gases, are the worst affected by the impacts of climate change. Africa is on the front lines of climate change, where we are seeing prolonged droughts, destructive floods, rising temperature, and shifting seasons that are undermining food and nutrition security. Agriculture productivity has already dropped by more than 30% since 1961, the deepest decline globally. Yes, Africa is not only a victim, but also a hub of climate solutions. The summit has advanced Africa's voice. However, for us civil society actors present here, the true test of the Africa Climate Summit too lies in whether these commitments translate into people-led solutions that strengthen communities, uphold livelihoods, protect ecosystems and biodiversity, promote local markets and technology, and advance a just transition. These are our demands. A just transition for Africa. Africa must chart a path away from exploitative industrial food systems and dirty energy towards a community-driven, humane, sustainable, and equitable system. As Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Abiy Ahmed reminded us, Africa must lead in championing solutions. And for us, that means advancing food sovereignty by rejecting exploitative industrial animal agriculture, rejecting high use of synthetic fertilizers, rejecting grabbing of African resources in the name of greening projects, and rejecting carbon markets that come at the expense of communities while opening up polluting opportunities for especially the global north. A just transition also means energy sovereignty, where Africa controls and directs its own renewable energy pathways to serve its peoples, not external interests. Clean, decentralized energy systems should power agroecology, territorial markets, and resilient livelihoods, breaking dependence on important fossil fuels and exploitative green grabs. Protecting workers, farmers, women, youth, and indigenous peoples while also ensuring no community is left behind must remain at the heart of this shift. Finance for people-led agroecology. Africa consistently faces a lack of adequate finance to meet the costs of adaptation. Less than 2% of global climate finance reaches the small-scale farmers and producers, and even less supports agroecology. This must change. We call for direct climate finance that reaches farmer organizations, women groups, and youth-led enterprises. Agriculture and food systems require financing modules that prioritize agroecological transformations, not industrial monocultures. The global goal on adaptation. As we look towards COP30, we emphasize that Africa does not need a quick finalization of indicators under the global goal on adaptation. We need indicators that are people-centered, measuring resilience, food security, ecosystem health, and equity without creating extra burdens on food and agriculture sector and African food systems. The path from Addis Ababa must lead directly into stronger African positions at COP30. Civil society, farmers, faith leaders, women and youth are ready to hold governments and global partners accountable. What is our call to action? The path from Addis Ababa must lead directly into stronger African positions at COP30. Civil society, farmers, faith leaders, women, and youth are ready to hold governments and global partners accountable. Africa has the power to chart a new course of food and climate justice. By embracing agroecology, food sovereignty, and energy sovereignty, Africa can protect its peoples, animals, and ecosystems while setting a global example of resilience and responsibility. Agroecology has consistently demonstrated its effectiveness in restoring ecosystems, regenerating soils, enhancing animal welfare, biodiversity, and contributing to improved nutrition and human health. It integrates indigenous knowledge with ecological principles and innovation while centering the rights and agency of farmers, women, and youth. Agroecology provides not only a technical pathway for climate adaptation and mitigation, but also a social and political movement reclaiming control over our seeds, land, markets, energy, and food systems. AFSA, the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, therefore urges African leaders and development partners to move decisively beyond rhetoric and make concrete commitments to institutionalize and finance agroecology alongside people-centered renewable energy systems as a backbone of Africa's climate action and sovereignty. Africa needs a turning point and can no longer afford to invest in failed models of industrial agriculture and worsen the crisis. The time is now to institutionalize and finance agroecology as Africa's pathway to climate resilience, food sovereignty, and justice. Thank you.